Groves, coming to you from my home studio. For today's Bible talk, I want to have us discuss what I refer to as Samuel's Call, Part 1. This is a story that comes to us from the third chapter of the first book of Samuel. You may recall Samuel, the young lad, was dedicated to the Lord, and so he became part of the chief priest Eli's household. And he's being raised there and learning how to be a priest, if you will, from a very young age. And our story picks up where one night Samuel's gone to bed and he hears a voice calling him Samuel, Samuel. And so, not knowing for sure what it is, he gets up and assumes that it is Eli who is calling him. And so he reports and says, "Master, you called?" And Eli says, "No, I did not call you." The narrator adds for dramatic effect that the word of the Lord was infrequent in those times, and visions were not very widespread. So it happens a second time, and Samuel, not recognizing the voice, if you will, reports to Eli, who again tells him, "No, go back to bed." And it happens a third time. This time Eli's thinking something's going on and tells the young lad, "This is the Lord speaking. And if it happens again, then just say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.'" And it does happen a fourth time. And Samuel responds, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." And the Lord then, as it's described, stands before him and says, "See, I'm about to do something in Israel that will make both ears of anyone who hears of it tingle." It's a rather dramatic approach. Then the Lord announces the doom for Eli's house in light of Eli's failure to rein in his unscrupulous sons who were priests in Shiloh. Samuel is afraid to tell Eli what the Lord's message was and its condemnation for Eli and his sons. And you can readily appreciate that this first prophetic utterance from Samuel is very weighty. It's perhaps even incomprehensible to him. He's pretty immature at this stage. But as he grows older and as he develops more experience, he grows to become a trustworthy prophet. And the narrator describes that none of his words fall to the ground. This is a very compelling way of communicating that these messages that Samuel is transmitting on the Lord's behalf, finally inspired, were not unheeded. They were not unheard. They were appreciated for what they were. Before closing our session, I'd like to share with you John Singleton Copley. This is a painting that was completed in 1780. It is part of the collection of the Wadsworth Atheneum Museum of Art in Hartford, Connecticut. The formal title of this work is "Samuel Reading to Eli the Judgments of God upon Eli's House." And you can see that Eli is in a bit of a shock. You can see the reaction visible in his hands and in just the attention that he's paying to the young lad. But at the same time, he's not being defensive. He's not resisting the message. And you can see the young man inspired and sharing the message. He's no longer afraid to share the Lord's message. Copley was an artist born in Boston, and he's rendered our encounter here between the young Samuel and the older man, Eli, in very dramatic gestures. For our next session, we will discuss the significance of God's call and its interpretation. Until then, this is John Groves signing off. Thank you.